Hey, welcome back. Today, we're going to tackle 25 new words. Now, I know what you're thinking. Just memorizing a long list is really tough, right? So we're not going to do that. We're going to make this way easier by grouping the words into themes that just make sense together. By the end of this, these words are going to feel totally natural to you. Ready? Let's get into it.
So, here's our game plan. We split our 25 words into 5 simple groups. First, we'll hit words about thinking and ideas. Then, we'll talk about words that describe people. After that, actions, then states of being, and we'll wrap up with words about power and status. See? This way, your brain can build connections, which makes remembering everything so much easier.
All right, first up, let's jump into our first group. These are all words about what's going on in our heads. Words for beliefs, big ideas, and how we judge whether something's true or fair.
Okay, let's break these down. First, an ideology. That's just a big system of ideas, like a political philosophy. Hypothetical, that's your classic what-if scenario. It's an idea you explore, but it's not proven yet. An iconoclast? Now this is a cool one. It's a person who challenges what everyone else thinks is normal. A real rebel thinker. To be impartial means you're being fair, like a referee who doesn't favor either team. And finally, to impugn, that's when you verbally attack something, saying you think it's false.
So let's see them in action. Notice how ideology refers to a whole system of thought. Hypothetical is perfect for setting up a science experiment, right? An imaginary situation. The professor, our iconoclast, is the person going against the grain. A judge absolutely has to be impartial. And what's a lawyer's job? A lot of the time it's to impugn or attack the story from the other side. Okay, let's really focus on these two for a second. They both start with im, so they can be confusing, but they're basically opposites. Here's the key. Impugn is a verb. It's an action word. You're doing something. You're attacking. But impartial is an adjective. It describes equality. It means you're being fair and not attacking. So one is all about attack, the other is about the total lack of it.
Okay, let's move right along to our second group. We're shifting from abstract ideas to people. These are all awesome words you can use to describe someone's personality, their habits, or even their appearance.
So, an idiosyncrasy. That's just a fancy word for someone's unique kind of weird habit. If something is impeccable, it's flawless, totally perfect. Impetuous is for someone who jumps into things without thinking first. Inane, that means something is really, really silly or makes no sense. And incandescent, I love this word. It means shining brilliantly. You can use it for a bright light or for a person's amazing personality.
And here's how they look in the real world. Wearing 2 different socks? That's a perfect example of an idiosyncrasy. Homework with 0 errors? That's impeccable. An impetuous decision is one you make in a hurry and you often regret it. A conversation about nothing but silly stuff is inane. And that incandescent smile, it just paints a beautiful picture of how bright and brilliant it was.
Now, here's a little secret about the word impetuous. It almost always has a negative feel to it. It's not just about being fast, it's about being reckless. So when you hear someone made an impetuous choice, you can pretty much guess it probably wasn't a great idea. It implies they acted first and thought later, if at all.
Okay, group 3, so we've described ideas and people. Now let's talk about what people actually do. This whole group is full of action words, verbs that describe important things that happen.
Let's run through them. To immigrate means to move into a new country to live there for good. To implement a plan means you stop talking and you start doing it. You put it into action. To inaugurate something, like a new president or even a new park, is to kick it off officially, usually with the ceremony. To incense someone, well, that's to make them really, really mad. And finally, illicit. Watch out for this one. It's actually an adjective that describes an action as being illegal.
As you can see, each sentence shows a very clear action. Immigrate is the act of moving. Implement is putting that new policy to work. Inaugurate is the official start for the mayor. And those rude comments? They're going to incense his parents, make them furious. And illicit perfectly describes the kind of activity selling stolen goods is. It's illegal.
Okay, listen up, because this slide is an absolute game changer for tests. First, for immigrate, just think of the word in. You are coming into a new country. For emigrate, think exit. You are exiting your old country. Simple, right? Now for the next pair. Illicit starts with ill, just like illegal. They go together. But illicit is totally different. It's a verb that means to draw information out of someone. Don't get them twisted.
All right, we've covered ideas, people, and actions. Our fourth group is a little different.
These words don't describe what something is doing, they describe what something is. They're all about a condition or a state of being.
So immutable means it's set in stone. It cannot be changed, ever. Impervious is like a shield. If you're impervious to something, it can't get through to you. Imminent means something is about to happen, like right now, it's on the verge. Incessant means non-stop, continuous, and it's usually something annoying, like a noise. And incipient means something is in its earliest stage. It's just starting to happen.
Let's look at the examples. You can't change the laws of physics, right? They're immutable. A good raincoat doesn't let water through. It's impervious. You see those dark clouds? That storm is imminent. It's coming any second. That construction noise that never stops, that's incessant. And that first little tickle in your throat, that's the incipient stage of a cold. See? Each one describes a specific condition.
Okay, let's zoom in on these two because the difference is all about timing, and it's a bit tricky. Imminent is for something that is right on the doorstep. It's about to happen any second. Think of a car that's about to crash. Incipient, on the other hand, is for something that has just started. It's the very, very beginning. Think of that tiny initial pain of a headache. So, the key is happening soon versus starting now.
And here we are at our final group. Let's bring it all home. These last 5 words are all connected to some pretty big ideas. Power, status, beautiful places, and what happens when you lose it all? Okay, so idyllic describes a place that is just perfectly peaceful and beautiful. Ignominy, that's a heavy one. It's a noun for deep public shame or humiliation. Imperial is anything related to an empire or an emperor, so think grand, powerful, and majestic. Impotent is the complete opposite of that. It means powerless or helpless. And an incantation is a magic spell, which you could say is its own special kind of power.
Let's look at these final examples. That perfect, peaceful garden by the lake, you'd call that idyllic. Being fired in front of everyone for cheating, that feeling is ignominy. A massive palace with gold everywhere has that grand, imperial style. And without his tools, the carpenter couldn't work. He felt impotent or powerless. And of course, the wizard used an incantation to make some magic happen.
Okay, one last tricky pair, and this is a classic mistake. Listen to the sounds. Impotent, important. They sound so similar, but they mean completely different things. Impotent means having no power. A car with a dead engine is impotent. Important, as you know, means something has high value or is significant. It's important to study. So remember, no power versus high value. Don't mix them up.
And just like that, you've got 25 new words under your belt. By breaking them down into groups and really looking at the little details, you've done more than just memorize. You've started to really understand them. Keep practicing, and your vocabulary is going to be, well, absolutely incandescent. Thanks so much for joining me.